Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something really fascinating, the world of high-end mechanical watches, but specifically where that sort of intense innovation meets pure artistry.
Exact.
And we're focusing on a brand that I think really lives that blend, Armin Strom. We're going to break down their gravity equal force ultimate sapphire blue timepiece, what makes it tick.
Right. And our mission, if you like, for this deep dive isn't just to say, oh, this watch is special. We want to dig into why. Why do these specific technical advancements matter?
Yeah.
How do they actually improve things for you, the wearer, both in performance and just, how the watch looks and feels?
Yeah, what's the real benefit?
Exactly. Expect some maybe surprising facts and a real look at what true craftsmanship involves today.
Okay, so let's maybe start with the brand's more recent chapter, Armin Strom. When Serge Michel and Claude Greisler acquired it, they really, they took the bull by the horns, didn't they?
They absolutely did.
They kept that heritage of hand skeletonizing movements, which Mr. Strom was famous for, but they also went all in on building a full-scale vertical manufacture. That's a massive step.
Oh, it's huge. A monumental task for any watch brand, really. And it wasn't like that was their first big challenge either. Remember, they'd already tackled something incredibly difficult before that.
You mean the mirrored force resonance?
Precisely. Getting that concept to work reliably in a wristwatch format, that was a major achievement. And it sort of, paved the way for what they did next.
Which brings us to the star of today's show, really. The Armin Strom Gravity Equal Force watch, launched back in 2019. And it wasn't just another watch, it was genuinely groundbreaking, right?
It really was. It earned that reputation because it was the world's very first automatic watch to feature a stop-work declutch mechanism. That was completely new thinking applied to a very, very old watchmaking problem.
Okay, so for someone wearing this watch, what's the immediate tangible upside of having that mechanism inside?
Well, the direct benefit is all about consistency. You get incredibly consistent power delivered to the balance wheel. And that's maintained throughout the entire 72-hour power reserve, which is pretty impressive in itself.
So no drop-off in accuracy as the watch winds down.
Much, much less than you typically see. It smooths out those power fluctuations you get from a mainspring unwinding. That's the core idea.
Right. And that fundamental improvement must be why the gravity equal force has become such a key piece for them. It's part of their more accessible System 78 collection, and we keep seeing new versions.
Exactly. Its technical innovation combined with reliability really connects with people. It's a bestseller for them, so it makes sense they revisit it, experiment with different colors, different materials. It appeals to that crowd who love the mechanics and the design.
And the specific one we're looking at today, this glacial blue, it just feels perfectly timed for summer, doesn't it? Very refreshing.
It really does. They talk about capturing the feel of Swiss lakes, that alpine light. It's a cool, crisp aesthetic.
Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty then. This stop-work declutch mechanism, you mentioned it solves an old problem. All mechanical watches face this challenge, right? And Claude Greisler's system tackled it head-on. What is that core problem?
Sure, so the basic issue is simple, but it's always been a headache for watchmakers. A mainspring, when it's fully wound, delivers a lot of force. Too much sometimes.
Right.
And as it unwinds over hours or days, that force gradually weakens. It just fades. This inconsistency, this fluctuation in torque, directly affects the balance wheel's oscillation and therefore the watch's timekeeping. Its rate changes.
Affecting accuracy.
Exactly. Accuracy suffers. Watchmakers have tried various solutions over centuries, things like the fusee and chain or constant force escapements, but they often add bulk or significant complexity.
So Greisler's approach was different. How did he manage it?
Well, his solution was frankly ingenious. He combined a stop-work mechanism, which basically limits how much the mainspring can wind and unwind with a Geneva cross, that little Maltese cross-shaped component.
Yeah, I've seen those. Often used for power reserve indicators or other functions.
Right. But he put them together inside the mainspring barrel itself. That integration, that miniaturization within the barrel is really clever. What this combination does is it stops the mainspring before it fully unwinds.
Huh.
And it effectively only uses the middle section of the mainspring's unwinding process. The part where the power delivery, the torque, is naturally the most consistent. It neatly sidesteps the overpowering start and the weakening end.
Ah, I see. Optimizing the power delivery. And here's the really cool Armin Strom part, isn't it? This clever bit of engineering isn't buried deep inside.
Not at all.
It's right there on the dial for you to see. I remember seeing one for the first time, and your eye is just drawn to that mechanism. It's fascinating. What was your take when you first saw it displayed like that?
It was definitely striking. I mean, putting such a crucial piece of the regulating system front and center, it's a bold move.
Hmm.
It shows real confidence in the engineering, I think. And it signals they want you, the wearer, to connect with that innovation, to see it working. It
Hmm.
really speaks to that idea that in fine watchmaking, transparency can be part of the beauty.
Absolutely. So you've got this brilliant engineering heart. How do they make sure the rest of the watch lives up to it visually? Let's talk about the aesthetics. It really feels like this blend of old and new.
It definitely does. You immediately see the nods to tradition, the old, if you will. Those three straight parallel bridges on the right side of the dial, they call them finger bridges.
Right, very distinctive.
They strongly evoke the look of old pocket watch movements, a clear link to horological history.
But then contrasting with that, you've got very modern elements. The whole dial is open worked, and the time display itself, the hour and minute disc, is off center.
hmm That off-centered open design gives it a contemporary, almost architectural feel.
Yeah.
It creates this interesting dialogue, like you said, between watchmaking traditions and modern design language.
And this specific version, the glacial blue, we mentioned it feels like an antidote to summer heat. It's a really cool specific shade. They've done other colors since 2019, of course, including that monochrome collaboration watch.
Yeah, they have. And what's really impressive with this blue version is the detail on the main plate, the base of the movement visible through the dial. It's not just flat blue.
No, it has texture.
A rich texture, exactly.
Yeah.
It's decorated with a hand guilloche pattern, a barley grain pattern. And this isn't just any guilloche. It's done by the artisans at Kari Voutilainen's dial workshop, Comblamine SA.
Wow, okay. That's serious craftsmanship.
Absolutely. Voutilainen's name carries huge weight. Then, after the guilloche, they use a 3D PVD process that's a sophisticated vacuum coating technique to apply the light blue color. It bonds it right to the metal, making it durable and giving it that depth.
It sounds incredible. And you know, what strikes me is the balance. Even with the time pushed off to the side, the whole dial feels strangely symmetrical, or at least balanced.
I agree. Those three finger bridges on the right really anchor things visually. They secure components like the barrel and the micro rotor.
Right, like the bridge up at 1 o'clock holding the micro rotor balances out the bridge down at 5 o'clock over the equal force barrel. It just works aesthetically.
It does. It creates a visual counterpoint.
Hmm.
Now, some might find such an open dial a bit busy, potentially harder to read. How do you think they handle legibility alongside all that transparency?
That's a fair point. I think they manage it quite well, actually. For instance, the hour and minute disc itself is made of a light gray sapphire crystal.
Ah, so you can see through it.
You can see the movement underneath, yeah, but it still provides enough contrast for the hands. And then you have that signature small second subdial intersecting the main time display. It adds complexity, sure, but it's a distinct Armin Strom feature.
And the hands themselves.
The hands are faceted, polished, pretty substantial, and filled with superluminova, so reading the time, even in low light, shouldn't be an issue, despite everything else going on visually.
Okay, that makes sense. So, moving beyond the dial, let's talk about the engine itself, the ASB19 automatic movement. You get this strong sense of dedication to hand finishing here, right? Every part finished by hand in their Biel facility.
Yeah, that's a major part of their philosophy.
And the level of that hand finishing is, well, it's exceptional. We're talking beautifully beveled and polished edges on the bridges, black polished screw heads. These are the tiny details that signify true high-end watchmaking.
Labor-intensive stuff.
Incredibly so.
Right.
Finishing every single component by hand, even parts you might not normally see. It's not just for looks. It says something about their whole approach to quality. It's about the process itself.
And I read the movement is assembled twice.
That's right. Assembled, tested, disassembled, cleaned, then reassembled finally. It's another mark of their commitment to precision. Plus, you get traditional decorations like perlage, those small circular grains and Geneva stripes, applied meticulously.
So the movement is clearly top-notch. What about the case holding it all? It seems quite wearable.
It is. Thanks to using a micro rotor for automatic winding, instead of a full-size one, they kept the profile reasonably slim. It's 12.65 millimeters thick with a 41 millimeter diameter. That tends to sit very well on most wrists.
Feels modern, but not oversized.
Exactly. And the case finishing echoes the movement's quality. You have alternating brushed and polished surfaces, which really brings out the shapes and lines of the case design.
Nice contrast.
And true to the brand's transparency ethos, you get sapphire crystals on both the front and the back, giving you a full view of that intricate movement from either side.
And wrapping it all up, literally, is the strap for this glacial blue model.
It comes on a blue nubuck leather strap. Nubuck has that nice, soft, almost velvety texture, and it features ice blue stitching, which picks up the dial color perfectly. It completes that cool, glacial theme.
Sounds like a cohesive package. Now, if someone's listening and thinking, wow, I need this, what's the deal with availability and price?
Well, it's definitely an exclusive piece. This isn't mass-produced. It's offered as a limited annual series, just 25 pieces per year.
Only 25 worldwide.
That's right. And the retail price reflects the craftsmanship and exclusivity.
Yeah.
27,500 Swiss francs.
Okay, so definitely in the realm of serious collectors. So bringing this all together as we wrap up, what we've really explored here with the Armstrong Gravity Equal Force Ultimate Sapphire Blue is this fantastic mix. Old school hand craftsmanship meets genuinely cutting-edge watchmaking innovation.
Right.
It's more than just a pretty face. It's a watch that tackles fundamental mechanical problems with solutions that are not only elegant, but crucially visible. You get to see the cleverness.
Yeah, and so what does that ultimately mean for you, the enthusiast or collector? It means all that obsessive attention to detail, the clever problem solving. It elevates this watch. It's not just a luxury item.
No?
It becomes a piece of mechanical art, really. It connects to that deeper appreciation we have for brilliant engineering, where every single tiny part, every finish, every mechanism tells a story about human skill and dedication.
So maybe a final thought to leave everyone with. In a world that's just flooded with digital clocks, smartwatches telling us the time instantly, what does the continued appeal, the fascination with a purely mechanical, hand-finished marvel like this Armstrong tell us? What does it say about our human desire for, I don't know, precision, beauty, and these tangible wonders of pure craftsmanship?
Something to definitely think about next time you glance at your wrist.